Here's another way to look at it, and then we'll get into the specifics. This is the Finch Brands sort of brand building methodology. And Frank, who's a colleague of mine, we're in an hour in the car, and we were talking about, so much of our time is spent trying to build structure around ideas. And I haven't found one that, in the world of branding, explains better the depth and substance of what a brand is and how it is built than this following pyramid that applies for all the sorts of organizations with whom we work. In your organization, everything begins in many ways with vision and mission. Somebody, through their love of music or visual art or pottery or anything in between or betwixt, thought to build an organization to further this sort of art and to expose it to more people. The vision and mission, what's our reason and right to exist, is at the very foundation of every brand that ever reaches any sort of pantheon of being indispensable to the lives of the consumers that it aims to have an impact on. Now you build on top of that the positioning and the strategy. The positioning fundamentally is what makes us different. Why us? And the strategy that's related to the positioning is, okay, well, who should we target? What's the competition doing? How do we build ever more deeply and develop ever more broadly this sense of differentiation for us? Always in concert. It could be a bit of a pun. With the vision and mission of the organization and the reasons for our formation that we can never lose sight of. Build on top of that is our offering. And when I say build on top, I don't mean these are a set of discrete ETE topics. They're not. This is a building process of a strong, sturdy, durable, meaningful pyramid. So our offering. What are we selling? How do we productize it? Whether it's our 2012 season of musicals and dramatic productions, or whether it's the next installation or exhibit or anything else. What and how we productize what we are has to be reflective of our sense of what makes us different, as well as our sense of what we value, why we're here, and our vision and our mission. On top of that is, in the corporate world, we call it sales and distribution, or the channels. In the artistic or the not-for-profit world, it is about how do we and where do we touch our audience? Ticket office, on the phone, on the website, through the mail, anywhere in between. How do we configure, both in deciding to create and then delivering the experience of our channels, how do we configure them in a way that's completely consistent? First, with our mission, what we believe. Second, with our positioning, what makes us different. Third, with our offering, what we're delivering. How are these delivered in concert, in complete harmony, at every touch point, to every consumer or other audience that we're trying to have an impact on? So, in the development world, a fundraising event would be part of our distribution network. When I'm talking to for-profit clients and we're talking about the web and retail and wholesale, it's a little bit easier. We have many, many different channels and touch points that we use to touch and have an impact on our audience. And then on top of that, the very tip of the iceberg is execution, which includes marketing and advertising and communications and organizational development and how we fund and grow and what we do day in, day out. The blocking and tackling is probably 90% of what occupies our thinking. And one reason why it's wonderful that there are conferences like this to get us away a little bit maybe and think a little bit more deeply. That's where execution is. If this were an iceberg, that would be the part that's above the waterline. But you would miss perhaps the foundation that has to be beneath it. Which is why, when I said at the beginning, and it may sound a little bit glib and self-serving at the beginning, but that advertising is not branding, and advertising agencies are not branding agencies, or whatever verbiage you want to throw out, is because at that very tip, communications, development, delivery of the ideas that lie beneath, there has to be a complete and total integration, or else you are sapping the strength from your brand before you even begun to put it into the marketplace. Now, I talked for a decade about this pyramid, in exactly, perhaps even more eloquently, I hope, the way that I explained how we go up the left side, before I realized that the audience, again, be it consumers who we want to buy tickets or individuals who we want to write checks, perceive in the exact inverse order these steps. So again, the first exposure they might have, most likely will have, to us, is through something that we've done in the execution realm. An ad, or something we put on the side of a bus, or something we send to someone through the mail, or put on a sign. And if, through that interaction, we can compel them to look a little deeper. We can catch their eye. We can pierce their consciousness or pique their interest. Then we earn the right for them to interact with one of our distribution points. Call a ticket office. Type in an email address on a website to receive information. Or any of the following things. Have a conversation with a development officer or someone within the organization about whatever it is. If at that point we earn the right to bring them ever closer to what it is that we're offering, then they will have an interaction with our offering, with our program, with our performance, with our exhibition, whatever it may be. And if that program or performance or exhibition delivers, scratches the right itches, it hits the right receptors in their mind and in their heart, we earn the right for them to ask the question and answer it. Why them? What makes them different? Why my time and dollars today and in the future with this organization? And then at the end of the day, the brands that reach the pantheon, the brands that make it, all the brands that we would consider, as, at least as consumer brands, to be stratospherically successful for branding reasons, not necessarily for other reasons, their audiences have a connection to their vision and their mission. And if you asked 100 people what such and such brand stands for in its very essence, they'd use very similar words and phrases and images. So this is a way to look at how to build and benefit from brands. From mission to marketing, from the bottom of the pyramid to the top, from the foundation of the house to the color of the shutters and the shingles on the